Hello, this is Crystal Racing with 7 talking points of today's 2018 Canadian Grand Prix. And the first talking point, it has to be Winnie Harlow waves the checkered flag 1 lap early, meaning that, of course, the results of today's Canadian Grand Prix has to be taken from the end of lap 68, not lap 70, but lap 68, which is rather inconvenient because, of course, it means the official F1 website has to rejig the entire classification, but I think the order pretty much stays the same. It's kind of embarrassing when you think about it because, you know, the start of the race, you had Gail King, some female American celebrity, doing the start with Charlie Whiting. And then Michael Douglas was in the garage talking nonsense and annoying the mechanics and wasting their time. And then, of course, you had a supermodel slash activist slash actress in Winnie Harlow waving the flag and just sort of messing around with her hair. And it was just so... You know, we really are now in the era of liberty media. This is what they want the sport to be like. Really, they want to shove the Brendon circuses right into your face. And it's just, well, kind of really, liberty media have ended up with egg on their faces. And I think the Canadian Grand Prix promoters themselves have ended up with egg, with really quite embarrassing themselves because that was just so amateur. Number 2, it has to be the Hartley Lance Stroll crash. Oh dear, not a good one. Really, well, from what it looked like to me, it looked like Lance Stroll was at fault. I mean, yes, Brendon Hartley did take a risk by going around the dirty part, around the outside on the run down to turn 5. You know, just basically where, you know, they've got massive tyre barriers, and Lance Stroll sort of lost his car a bit, kind of a bit amateurish from the Canadian rookie, and unfortunately, once again, Hartley gets involved in yet another big crash. That's got to be at least his... I think that's got to be at least his 3rd or 4th already this season. This is seriously alarming. I mean, of course, as we all know, the Red Bull hierarchy with Herbert Marko in particular, they are putting pressure on Brendon Hartley to perform, and you know, after a brilliant qualifying session yesterday where he dragged his car into 12th, this was the last thing he needed. He's under serious pressure now, and I really do hope he can hang in there because, you know, he's not getting treated fairly. I really do feel like he's getting, you know, the way Red Bull treated him over the past decade as their test driver and reserve driver, they have treated him like shit. So, come on, Brendon, please, pull one out of the bag, because the way they've treated drivers over the past decade or so, it's been atrocious the way Red Bull have been behaving with their drivers, with the exception, of course, King Sebastian Vettel. And then, of course, talking point number 3, it is the fight between Charles Leclerc and Fernando Alonso, which was probably the most exciting thing about today's race. And I'm sorry to admit this, but I nodded off for 15 minutes. But, you know, you get a set, you know, we saw them fight in Spain, we've seen them fight in Baku. You know, this is a thing now. Charles Leclerc versus Fernando Alonso is a thing. I mean, it is the midfield fight we're talking about. Let's face it, with the gap between the front three and the midfield being so far apart, I think, you know, if Charles Leclerc could keep getting one up on Fernando Alonso, he might get himself in a seat at Ferrari. Although, of course, I'm not sure how much you enjoy being Sebastian's number 2. Number 4, the 4th talking point, it has to be the Pirelli tyres and strategy. Of course, today they were pushing a lot more. Well, it was kind of weird to watch because it looked as if, well, it was mostly a one-stop race for everyone because of the fact that everyone was driving conservatively. I mean, everyone, I thought earlier on it would be a 2-stop race, but then when it became very clear everyone was going to try and drag their bloody ultra softs out for a long time, it just turned into a complete disaster, and it was just Oh, God, dearie me, that was just boring. And to be fair, yes, the drivers could push more today, unlike in Monaco, but we really had a complete joke of a race. There is no debate whether today's race was boring. It was boring. There is no debate like there was in Monaco. Monaco, okay, there was very little on-track overtaking action apart from Max Verstappen flying through the field, but at least we had the tension and the drama of wondering whether Daniel Ricciardo could hang on in his misfiring Red Bull that only had 6 gears and a completely broken MGUK. Today, apart from Fernando Alonso breaking down, all the cars were working in tip-top order, although of course Kimi is still using a slightly old power unit, so he's just... Oh, I don't even want to talk about it. Just a really bad qualifying, just a really bad, mediocre weekend for Kimi all round. And sadly, it seems as if those claims by that waitress against him, accusing him of groping her, where of course it's led to him having to put out a complaint against her for extortion. Well, I kind of wonder, is he really in the groove anymore? I don't know. Number 5 is driver of the day. It's Sebastian Vettel. Talking point number 6. The top 3 is advantage over the rest of the field. It's just absolutely obscene, really. I mean, I think even Hulkenberg got lapped, and I think the back markers got lapped 3 times. I mean, and you got to remember, this is a era where everyone has to use the same amount of fuel from the start of the race. I mean, you have to realise, well, if we did have refueling, I mean, I kind of guess some of them would be getting lapped 5 times at the back. This is how bad it is. And to be honest, I can't really talk about rejects in the race. Well, if I'm going to have to do rejects in the race, it's probably Kimi. What a disaster. And 7th, and the final talking point of today's video is the Red Bull drivers did a strong performance. A very strong performance. Well, you know, Verstappen for once has had a clean weekend. Got his car in 3rd place. That should keep his spirits up. And Daniel Ricciardo, you know, made a very good move around Kimi at the start, and then kicked Lewis Hamilton at the pit stops with a brilliant in lap. And what can I say? Well done to Red Bull. The car's not obviously was never going to do that well here, but the drivers have outperformed it. So congratulations. So if you enjoyed this new video, this new format, which I am planning to do more of it, please like and subscribe to Crystal Racing, and I'll see you again very soon.